What is up, everybody? My name is Justin Alvarado, and welcome to the MVP podcast.
Hi guys, I'm Myko Garcia, and it is my pleasure to welcome our guest for today, who is a fellow hobbyist, but not in our country in the Philippines, coming from all the way from San Antonio. This man right here has so much insight and knowledge about sports cards, and we are very excited to learn from him. So let me welcome Sir Aamil Sarfani, or more popularly known as the Slab Talk on IG. So welcome, Sir Aamil.
No, thank
Welcome.
you for having me. This is a lot of fun, and as I was saying, kind of previously, this is such a great hobby because I'm getting an opportunity to meet people from all over the world that I wouldn't normally get to meet. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm excited to talk cards. So
All right, nice, nice. That's
Yeah,
good.
thank you so much for coming on board. This is something we've been excited to talk about. Actually, our first segment is something that we don't get to experience here in the Philippines.
No.
Um, we have card shops, but that's pretty much it. Although before the pandemic started, there were some meetups every now and then on some locations and
Mm.
stuff, and that was pretty much it for the hobby. We don't have a Dallas Card Show. We don't have a Nationals. So we were following you a couple of days ago, and we saw the experience on your Instagram stories on the Dallas Card Show. So we wanted to ask about that. So yeah, first thing right off the bat, we're curious. What was the best deal you made out of your entire stay in the show?
yeah, so the card show itself is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun being able to be in the same energy and in the room with a lot of people who are doing a lot of really big deals, and just to see all those cards in person. We look at all these cards online all day, every day. If you guys are as obsessed about this hobby as I am, you're looking at cards every day, and
Yep, yep,
there's something to be
definitely.
said about seeing cards in person and
Right.
kind of feeling that connection to cards. I know it's a little,
I know, right?
it's almost silly, but it's fun because when you're in person, you get to see the cards. There's
Yeah.
this different energy that comes, and so it was a lot of fun. And the biggest card deal that I did there was my 2008 Kobe Bryant X Fractor, which is out of 288, so numbered out of 288
Right.
in BGS 9.5. So that's a set that I've looked at for a long, long time. I bought the 2008 Topps Chrome Kobe in a PSA 10 um, back in April or May of 2020. So not too far into my kind of collecting journey, I found this card that had both Kobe and LeBron James on it, and I thought it was
Right.
Right.
fascinating and very, very
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah, I saw
loved
that on
the
your IG account, man. That's a really nice looking card. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's great. So I got obsessed with that set for about a year now. I've been looking at that set, different cards, LeBron, KD, Kobe. So just been looking at different cards in that set. And at the card show, I saw the X Fractor, and I didn't really think I'd be in the honestly the X Fractors and the Super Fractors and the Gold Refractors. Those are all above my head as well. So it's not like I really came into the show thinking I'd be able to get into a card like that. In fact, earlier in the show, I was looking at the LeBron X Fractor 2008 in a PSA 9, um, which I went after. I tried to get. The deal didn't end up working out. And then I saw the X Fractor for Kobe in a BGS 9.5 and just started talking to the guy. I didn't think I was actually going to get a deal done here. But I started with, hey, man, just take a look at my cards that I brought and see if you even like anything, because I don't have $24,000 of cash on me.
Right.
Um, and so he started looking through my cards, and he found one card that he really, really loved, which was the Kevin Durant Finest Refractor, the
Mm,
2007 Kevin Durant Finest Refractor in a PSA 10. That ended up being the kind of it's the piece that we
Right.
built the entire trade around, was that card.
Okay.
And so it worked out. We built about $20,000 of card value in. So he took that one plus another 5 cards, including a couple Kawhi Leonard prisms, including my LeBron James 2003 Topps Pristine, and then a couple Kevin Durant black border tops and a PSA 9. So those 6 cards created about $20,000 of value, and then I threw in 5,000 in cash. And although the comp for the cards, or the last sale on that card in a BGS 9 was about 18,600, I was comfortable overpaying, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 just because that card never comes available. There's only 27 of them that exist.
Right.
Wow.
When it's in front of you, you got to do what you got to do,
Uh-huh.
He was
I'm glad I have one.
he was firm on the trade value.
He was. I was trying to get him a little lower. He was asking for 32,000 on the card, and the seller actually has now bought another one. So I've been following him afterwards, and he actually got his hands on another one because he loved it so much. So he actually went ahead and got himself another one. But he started at 32,000 and got him down to about 23, 24, $25,000 trade value or total value, and it worked out. So made it happen.
Wow.
And it's a long-term hold for me. So even if I overpaid a little bit, the reason I'm okay doing that is because for me, this card is going to be in my collection for years. I don't plan on selling this card for a long time.
Right.
And so that's why I'm okay, if it's a little bit more. Because in my head, that card is much higher than a $24,000 card in 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, and it sounds a lot of fun. Just making that
But like, what the heck?
making
of a
that deal.
And it take a long time. I don't know if you saw Sasha's video about his Charizard and stuff like that, but that deal for, they take a long time. You're standing there for 25, 30 minutes on this type of deal, just
wow.
talking through, and the end goal or the end 6 cards that I used in the trade value, there were other cards that he was trying to get into the trade. But so going back and forth, being like, no, I don't want to give you that card. I want to keep that card. I'd rather give you cash instead of that card, right? And so like that whole process takes time. But that's the beauty of these trades is that it over this 30-minute, hour-long, hour-and-a-half, 2-hour-long negotiation, whatever you're trading into, you start developing a relationship with that person, and it's fun. I like negotiating. Negotiating is it's a game, just to kind of see where it all goes. And it's fascinating to see how to match up priorities, because that's all negotiation is just matching priorities, right? Because most trades are win-wins for both people. Both people are leaving saying, I got what I wanted out of that trade. And that's what it means for a good trade. So,
Right.
Right.
Agree.
So, out of the entire experience, before, during, and after, what is your favorite part about the entire card show?
So, my favorite part is just being in the room. It's simply the energy that comes from being in there. And I'm a person that I'm very intuitive with my energies. I like that stuff. I really feel other people's energies a lot. And just being in that room and just understanding what that felt like was a lot of fun. It's funny because my cousin and I walked in and we didn't know what to expect. This was our first big trade show. And we walk into one of the overflow rooms. And the only thing we told ourselves before coming into the show, not knowing what we were going to buy or what cards we were exactly going after, was we just want to make sure that the card hobby feels good. It feels like it's growing. I want to feel that, hey, we're in good hands. We've put a lot of money into this. Like both my cousin and I have invested a lot of our early dollars that we've made. So I'm in commercial real estate industry here in Texas. So I've taken a lot of my money I've made over the last couple years through commissions and just put it into cards. So you want to feel like, hey, it's working out. And so we walked into the hotel and we walked into the first room that we saw, but it ended up being an overflow room. So it wasn't the main convention hall. It was just a random room that had other vendors, sports card vendors, but a smaller room. And we walked in and I thought that was the room. I thought that was the whole room.
Like that was the main room.
I thought that was the main room.
And like, this is it.
This is it. And I looked at my cousin and I looked at him and I said, holy shit, like we got to sell, man. We got to get out. What are we doing? This feels really bad, right? And so we walked out and he looked at someone else's story and the room didn't look the same. And he was like, no, I think there's something else in this hotel. And
where the hell are we?
So we walked around and luckily found the main room and we walked in and we both looked at each other and said, thank God, because the feeling we had when we walked into one of the other, not that it was like a bad room, but it was just much smaller than what we expected. And of course it was an overflow room. But the best part of the trip was honestly just being in the room. The other part of it that I talk about in my show is stay late for the trade nights. If you ever go to a card show after the convention ends, which, the convention hall itself closes around 6 or 7 o'clock, and then people go out to dinner. and they come back to the hotel, and starting around 9 to 10 p.m., people start doing what's called a trade night. And so all these people that I had been communicating with on Instagram and stuff, they started showing up at the hotel lobby, much smaller group of people, but everyone's showing off their collections and trading and getting deals done. And that's a lot of fun too. The staying up till 1, 2, or 3 a.m. trying to just, meet new people and see what cards are out there and what people are collecting. And so that was a lot of fun. That late night piece of it, which I encourage anybody to go, like, get some rest, because that first night, if you can stay up and just like be around, even if you're not doing deals, if you just want to look at it, what's going on, it's just fun. It's a good energy to be around. So, yeah.
Oh, I see.
What an experience! It sounds like an experience.
It was.
And,
it was.
And it sounds like in those late night trade nights, right? Could you say like there's a chance for you to get better deals in that late night as compared to on the day, during the day, or not really?
I don't know if there's better deals to be had there, because everyone who's there honestly is valuing their cards pretty high. Trade. It's interesting. So this trade show, there was good prices to be had, and people were willing to make deals. And so I think there was plenty of deals to be had, but nobody's necessarily discounting it. I do feel like at these trade shows, people are coming to make deals. And so nobody's really discounting all that much. I do think that the best time to get deals done actually is if you wait till the last day or so of the show. That's when people are looking to kind of move cards. So any cards that haven't moved yet that
Makes
they were
sense.
looking to sell, by the end of the show, if they haven't moved it yet, that's when you can kind of get a little bit more of a discount, because they're willing to kind of negotiate with you a little bit more, because they wanted to sell those cards coming in. For whatever reason, they didn't sell over the first 2 days of the show. The third day, it looks like they're willing to sell a little bit lower. And so that can be sometimes when you get some deals.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the flip side? We're curious because, well, from our perspective, all we see are Instagram stories, YouTube videos, vlogs, and stuff. Um, I guess we're interested in finding out, maybe just for you personally, did you have any, let's say, pet peeves that you found annoying to some degree, or was it all like rainbows and butterflies?
No, I mean, look, I don't, for me, I don't look at a lot of the negatives and stuff, but if I had pet peeves, the only thing I would say is, like, I had one guy who came in who I had negotiated a deal with, who sniped my deal. I had negotiated a whole deal and had it all negotiated, and I stepped away just to make a call. I told the seller, give me a minute. Just let me make a call. It's $12,000. It's a lot of money. Let me talk to my cousin, and I've got my own little support system here that helps me bounce ideas off of. And some guy came up and he said, I'll take it for that price. And he took the card, right? No, I'm glad it happened, because if I did that deal, I probably wouldn't have been able to get into my Kobe X Fractor. So for me, it's like, it all happens
Okay.
for a reason. I'm okay, like, no big deal.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, honestly, everyone was super nice. Everyone was looking to make deals. So at this show, it was good. People were looking to make deals. Sometimes you go into trade shows and people have their cards priced above eBay comps. Like in San Antonio, a couple of times I went to a show and a guy, is selling his cards, but he has all of his prices above eBay comps, and he's not willing to go below eBay on his prices. Well, we're in person. You're saving
Yeah.
on fees. I'm saving on taxes.
And
There's no
shipping.
PayPal fee, nothing, no shipping fee. There's no fees. Like, we could theoretically get deals done at better than eBay prices and be more profitable. It could be a win-win-win, like, all across the board.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like people are trying to be like, they're trying to take advantage of that fact that the card market is hot a little bit too much, and trying to juice the deals. And I tell everybody, if you got someone who's going to buy a card from you and you're within that kind of 5% margin of trying to get a deal done, get it done. Even if that means you as a seller comes off of it a couple $100s or whatever, make everyone happy. Like, it helps to make your buyer happy. You know what I'm saying? If your buyer leaves feeling like they got a little bit and you left a little meat on the bone, that's always a good thing. That means that you want your buyers to be happy. You don't really want your buyers to buy a card from you and that card go down in value. That sucks. Nobody wants to see that happen. Now it happens across the board, and everyone is accountable for the decisions they make. But that's the only thing. It's like, let's make deals. Like let's help each other out here. That's the only thing. But other than that, honestly, it's a lot of fun, man. It was pretty much all rainbows and butterflies.
All right.
And happy to know. Happy to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what about when it comes to, let's say, because, okay, like for example, in our perspective, let's say me and Myko decide to go maybe on the next one.
Very true. Yeah.
Like, we don't know what to do when we get there. So,
Yeah.
are there any like etiquettes or unspoken rules that people should be aware of, especially considering someone who might be going there for the first time?
So I think this is a great topic. I like this topic because a lot of just understanding how to operate at these card shows is just practice, and it's more of comfortability. So more so than not necessarily knowing what exactly to do or etiquette or stepping on people's toes. It's mostly just about practice, how to get comfortable about asking someone to see the card and, all that sort of thing. And just starting to negotiate. Like if you're not used to negotiating and if you're not used to telling someone, a lot of times what negotiate, if you're selling a card, a lot of times what you'll do is quote a really high price just to anchor that person really high. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not comfortable saying no or sticking to your price, it can be a little bit nerve wracking. In terms of etiquette, all I say is like when someone's looking at the cards and they're negotiating and stuff, let them go through what they're doing. Try not to get in the middle of that, even if there's a card that you're trying to see. Like let people do their negotiating. So one thing that kind of bothered me is like while I'm talking to a seller trying to get a card, someone would come up and be like, "Hey, can I see that card?" Or "Are you buying cards? Can I show you my cards?" And they wouldn't be very cognizant of the fact that I'm in the middle of like trying to negotiate this card, and it throws the negotiation into kind of a weird space. And so if you're going for the first time, I would say, just be cognizant of that, to understand that other people are trying to do that. And if you see someone negotiating with a seller or they're in a process of either selling them cards, let the negotiation run through its course and then you jump in and do what you need to do. That helps people kind of feel like, hey, you take care of your thing, I'll take care of my thing afterwards. And there's no rush. Like, although these cards are flying, especially if you're going after a little bit higher end cards, be patient. They're going to be there. There's no rush. Just a lot of times it's hard to like not calm yourself down. When you're there, you want to buy everything. You're like, oh, if I don't buy that, it's going to be gone in 30 minutes.
I'm going to miss out the
That's just not how it
opportunity.
works. Yeah. That's really not how it works. Like every time I see a card, usually if I come back in an hour, it's still there. You know what I'm saying? Like rarely does that card go anywhere unless obviously at some point it moves, but in the 30 minutes to 45 minutes that you see a card, most likely it's not going to go anywhere. And so just be patient with it. Be nice to other people when you're there and ask a ton of questions. Like it's okay to ask questions. I think some people get nervous about asking questions because it makes them look like they don't know what they're doing. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, who cares? You're new.
Exactly.
When you're going to a card show and if you're going for the first time, like go in trying to learn, like go in practicing, even if you mess up, even if someone's like, hey, don't do that. That's okay. Like you only learn that stuff by making those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So like ask the questions, don't be scared and just go in, especially if you do your own research. Like if you do your research and you know what card values are, which if you guys run a podcast, I'm sure you guys are using Card Ladder, Market Movers, whatever you're using to track your prices. Like those are good tools. And so if you use that stuff, you know what you're doing. Like you know the prices. So trust your gut, trust your intuition there. But other than that, have fun, ask questions, and just be nice. Like that's really all it is.
All right.
Man, that makes me excited to go to a card show.
We got to head to one.
I just want to go to the next one that I could go to right now, man. It sounds so exciting.
And soon enough, I'm sure they'll be in the Philippines. Like if this thing keeps growing, and I talked to someone from Australia, and I know the card market in Australia is really hot right now too. He was telling me like their goal over the next few years is to have an Australian national. You know what I'm saying? And so like for you guys who are building up the Philippines type of market, like that's cool. You guys are going to help that hobby grow there for people in the Philippines. And so like y'all could be on the front, you could be at the front of that line of like helping that hobby grow in the Philippines. And that's really cool. And so like a couple years down the line, when maybe there's a Philippines national, or somewhere in Asia that there's a national, and you guys get to go to that. Like, you guys are setting yourselves up to be, big names there. Like, that's going to be fun for y'all. So yeah, it's all possible, man. It'll happen. It'll happen over time.
I'm getting goosebumps just picturing it in my head.
I hope so. That would mean really good things if there's nationals all over the world.
That would be so cool.
That would mean a lot of good stuff for the card hobby. So
thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.